Today we're talking about what it's like to love something all by yourself and other stuff after we look at royalty-free black and white video and then listen to some trippy music in a What's That Intro All About Anyway bowl of dude soup.
There it is.
Wow. It's never been updated, huh?
It's been
Why would it?
almost 5 years.
Why mess with perfection?
I was going to say, that intro represents everything this podcast is about.
Never
It's
changing,
everything.
never growing.
This episode is brought to you by Honey. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/dude. Bespoke Post. Get 20% off your first subscription box at boxofawesome.com and enter promo code DUDE. And Fleur. Go to fleur.com today and use promo code DUDESOUP to get 20% off your first custom Fleur sample set. We're going to hear more from them later on in the show. First of all, I'd like to welcome my guests for this podcast.
Bruce, it's good to have you here on
Bruce
Dude
Green.
We do that joke every single
Everyone's
time.
a guest. Everyone's a guest.
It's Joel.
Bruce Green,
hello.
Elise Willems, and the one and comely Joel Rubin.
The one in Comely, Joel Rubin?
I was trying to make it sound like only.
I know, but
Comely.
Comely?
One and homely.
One and homely?
doesn't Comely mean you want to come in him?
No, that's comable.
Well, to Joel.
Thank you guys for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Of course.
I thought Joel was drinking out of a candle holder before
Joel
the
is the
podcast
only one
started.
who had a choice.
Do you still sell this thing?
I don't know that we ever sold that thing. I think that is a candle holder that you're holding.
No, it's
Does
insulated.
it taste like wax?
Insulated to keep the heat in, Joel.
It's the worst tumbler I've had in my life. It's so skinny it doesn't fit in the car.
Oh, so you brought that.
you wanted to know if we
You didn't
still
find that in the
sold it
kitchen?
so
You
you
brought
could
that
rip
in,
on
yeah.
it.
Oh,
Well, why do you have it? Whatever.
It's because you
Whatever.
gave it to me when I left. You were
mean,
like,
Joel
here, here's your retirement gift, asshole.
Is a co-creator of Funhaus, as much as we'd like to forget that.
Yeah, I know, he totally is.
Does the wiki say that?
He has about as much stake in it as we do, though. Thank you guys for joining me for this episode. We're gonna get a little personal, a little storytelling. I want to touch on some things because I had a personal experience last week, but I don't want to make it all about me. So I want to make sure I got some people that could make it about themselves too. But no, I had an interesting personal week. We last week we did the Games Done Slow charity, which blew my expectations out of the water. And was a lot of fun. I actually had fun the whole time, despite how exhausting it seemed. I felt like I was energized by the people around me and doing it. Joel, of course,
Yeah,
was
Joel
a
came
special
by.
guest.
Thanks for having
and
me.
two.
Thanks for
inviting
Joel,
me.
you're
He
always
dressed
welcome.
up.
You stayed way longer than you needed to. Thank you, Joel. We appreciate that.
I felt like I needed to. I was like, all right, I'm gonna stay until Rahul leaves, and then he just stayed. He just stayed all night.
He's
And
got
I
nowhere
can't-
to be.
nothing.
I know. That's what I said. Is I got a fucking baby. I gotta go home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But regardless, that stream ended. Slept for about 3 hours, and then the next day, Elise and I went on a long-planned whirlwind trip to Las Vegas for about 36 hours.
Yeah.
For one specific reason. I wanted to gamble away $1 million.
And did you?
You
I
mean
didn't.
$80,000?
$80,000. I had $80,000 burning a hole in my pocket that I needed to gamble our way.
I had $23.32. Yeah.
No, I wanted to go see a musical act that I never thought I would ever see in this country.
You've never seen it before?
No, of course not.
He doesn't
He's
tour
never
here.
torn. He never torned.
Torned?
I didn't know
Torn?
that. Oh, wow.
Toured.
Toured.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to go see Robbie Williams.
I find it hard to believe he's never toured in America.
That blows my mind.
Well,
He-
they
Listen,
sold
I'm not a
3
Robbie
albums
Williams
and they're all
fan.
bought by me.
He may have been to like Canada, Mexico,
But never
and maybe
the States.
Maybe 20 years ago.
I mean,
been
What
to
else?
the
What else is
US.
in North America? Haiti, the Dominican Republic,
Puerto Rico?
Puerto Rico.
No, but yeah, so I went specifically. He announced late last year, I think, that he was going to do a Vegas residency, just a very brief Vegas residency of like a week and a half in March.
And you're about a 2-decade Robbie Williams fan.
I've since Millennium. That song came out. I was a big James Bond fan. Well, I put together a slideshow. Bruce, I took this for you.
Cool.
Global
Phenomenon.
phenomenon.
What?
Sir,
Maybe
he's a knight?
No,
Oh.
that's fake.
He can't be a knight because
This is some balloons he had.
Why?
tax evasion.
Oh.
I don't know that he recently came up for it again, and they said no, we're not doing it because of tax-related issues to a charity that he was involved in. This was a guy who was walking around in the lobby of the
He's
venue,
moving fast.
holding a bunch of balloons that were for. He was like, balloons for Robbie, and they spelled out gay. He has a great sense of humor about himself.
Wow.
But yeah, I've been a fan
Well,
since basically Millennium.
His sexuality has been in contention in the UK press. Some people criticize him because they think that he uses this like pseudo gay angle
Really?
to like attract an audience, but he is married to a woman.
As hinted on in the album title, Swings Both Ways.
Yes.
Oh, so
Swing
maybe he's just
album.
bi.
Maybe he's bi.
I don't think he's bi though.
I don't think you're just bi, Bruce. You're bi. I don't think you want to belittle it by saying just.
I said maybe
bi.
I thought he said
That's
maybe
just
he's
Criss
bi.
Angel. That's not anything.
That's
to
something
do
else.
with
That was a picture I took for
Is that
Lawrence.
wait? Can we go back to that? Is it possible?
Do you want to see the?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that Photoshop? Is that his face
That's
Photoshop?
what I said.
Don't think so.
That's exactly what I
That
think
does
said.
it's
not
just-
look real.
I
It
mean, they
doesn't
probably
look the
had
same
some
lighting.
stuff to it, but that was a big in one of the
I mean,
casinos
usually
is the Houdini
people's
cycle.
bodies get more tan than their faces because I feel like you know.
Also, the
watch
proportion
film.
of look from an artistic point of view, the proportion of his head and anatomically is off. His head is bigger than it should be.
We're talking about Criss Angel right now, not Robbie Williams.
You went to Vegas to see this Criss Angel
Criss
plaque.
Angel, finally.
20 years in the making.
No, yeah. So he had a brief residency in March, and it was around the time where we weren't sure whether or not Arizona Circle was going to be shooting, and so I didn't try very hard to get tickets, and then they sold out immediately. So then they announced a second residency, which would have been last week, and that's the week I decided to go, and Elise joined me, not so reluctantly.
No, although I'm
not
not
for you.
a huge Robbie Williams fan, I was familiar with all of his music. He was pretty popular in Canada during like the Ego Has Landed album release, and he got a lot of radio play. So all his singles made it, all his music videos made it over.
Like
So I knew all
Rock
his
DJ.
songs.
That's the most
Supreme.
famous. The most famous music video is the one where like his skin.
Yeah,
is
he's
coming
like,
off
Yeah,
and
they're
off.
like I'd say
Yeah.
like Angel is probably his most well-known song.
Most well-known song, maybe like if you can count America too,
Maybe.
because Jessica Simpson covered it like
Oh, okay.
later on in her career, and it became way more popular than his initial song was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was a
That
pretty
rolling
cool
money.
It was a pretty cool experience for me, but I couldn't help but sit there and think about how alone in that appreciation I was, at least in the past 2 decades, feeling pretty alone.
Because of
liking
the where you lived. I
Just
would
because,
say.
because I grew up in the United States, and I don't know why I got it, but I just was cued into it, and it's weird because it kind of held true. He does a stand-up act while also doing music, so he's kind of like almost like an old crooner type.
In
Like
a pre-YouTube world in the 1990s, how did you get into Robbie Williams if it wasn't popular and it wasn't being played on the radio?
Millennium was a one-hit wonder type song in the U.S.
Uh-huh.
and I was really into that.
Uh-huh.
And then I was like, oh, who's this guy? And then I went out and bought an album because it was a one-hit wonder. And I mean, you do that with a
Sam
lot
Goody,
of stuff.
Blockbuster Music, Tower Records.
Warehouse.
Maybe, yeah, it might have been CD Warehouse or
Yeah.
something like that. And so I
pre-CD
had that
Warehouse.
album, but then it just like, you don't think about, there's no internet back then, so you're not really tracking things. You don't know that things sometimes just disappear and they go away. But then he had Rock DJ come out, which was a little notorious because they had to censor the music video.
Yeah.
And then so I was like, oh, sweet, another Robbie Williams album. So then I bought that album, and that one I listened to a lot. Like I used to play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater with their music turned down and the Robbie Williams Sing When You're Winning
No
album
one turns
turned
down the
up.
music in Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
I did.
What?
And so I listened to that album a lot. I got the special edition that had the DVD. So it had a DVD, but it had like a 360 p or whatever file that you could watch the uncensored music video on.
That music video, by the way, is awesome.
It's
Yeah.
great.
You
It's
should
great.
totally
We
watch
should-
the music
Can
video.
we pull up the music video for Rock DJ?
Yeah,
Rock
if
DJ?
whoever's listening to this
Yeah.
podcast, if you get a chance, you should go watch it because it's
Yeah.
a great
Yeah,
music
stop
video.
watching this podcast, turn it off,
Yeah.
unsubscribe from Funhaus.
I didn't say any of those things.
and then
But
go watch.
I always like the vibe of like he's got a unique voice. I feel like he has a pretty unique voice, but then he also is humorous. Like some
He's got a very,
singers
like,
are just like
cheeky sense of
singers
humor.
and they have no personality or whatever, but like he's always been very personality in his performance, and I always kind of like that. So then, but by that point, I was like, oh, I understand now. I'm the only one who cares. So every time a new album would come out, I'd have to find out that a new album came out on my own, and then I would buy it, and I just kept going that way. I just keep listening to Robbie Williams, but knowing that at that point that he was never going to be popular here, or most likely never going to be popular here, it just became this weird thing. And there's so many other musical acts that I saw before this, like Kyary Pamyu, pop star from Japan, I've seen twice before seeing him once, despite having loved his music for 20 years. And so just getting that, I went to the show, it was great. A lot of Vegas hits. He did Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra, and then also he did Rock DJ and some of his more popular songs and stuff.
Did he just sing the songs, or did he do Frank Sinatra? Did he sing it in the style of Frank?
He sang it in his voice.
Yeah.
But I mean, he kind of has one of those voices anyway, I think. I don't think that he's I'm all about range or whatever. He's more of a personality singer. Frank Sinatra's got a good voice, but it's Frank Sinatra's voice better than a amazing singer's voice kind of thing.
But it was really funny. He brought out this old man in a tux, and he's like, "This is my dad. He was a singer for 18 years. I used to watch him on stage. The song we're gonna sing is the song he always used to perform in this little pub." And they sang the song together. It was really heartfelt. And then after, he's like, "That's not my fucking dad."
Yeah, I found him in the lobby.
That's really funny.
Yeah, it was great. It was a true entertainment show, not just a concert. It was
It's really funny.
He brought this woman on stage.
It was like dry humping
and then
her
was
on this couch.
he was like, "I'm gonna sing a very romantic song to you," and then but then he's lying on top of her. And then at one point he's like, "I got her in a headlock," or she'd get up and he's like, "Sit the fuck down." He turned it into a show. And
That's great.
It was a really, really good performance. I'm glad I finally got to see it, but I couldn't help. There was a point where he was like, "All right, well, let's see where everybody's from. Who here's from the UK? Huge, boom. Who here's from Canada? And there's boom. What about Mexico? Yeah, Australia,
Yeah.
boom."
Wow.
He goes, "All right. Here's the ticket." He goes, "Who here is from the US of A?"
And it's like you and one
And it
other
was
dude.
me and one woman that was 2 rows down, and then a handful of other people down towards the
Oh, in
front.
Vegas? That's
Yeah.
so weird.
Well, a lot.
The couple next to us had flown in. They were UK transplants, and they had flown in from Missouri where
Yeah.
they lived, and
Specifically
they were
to see
specifically
Robert.
just to see him.
Yeah.
Because there's gambling in Missouri. There's Branson, baby.
I
Who's
guess Vegas is the right place to do that because you can justify going to
Yeah.
Vegas
Right.
for something because they were
So-
like,
to
"Well, we
stay
may go
there.
see another show tomorrow night."
I was thinking that originally when you were telling this that it was all tourists who were in Vegas to be in Vegas. And oh, Robbie Williams. Yeah, sure. Whatever. I know him from back home.
Mhm.
But no, these are people who came specifically.
Mhm.
It seemed that way.
Yeah. It did seem like
This
people were-
video took a weird turn.
I know.
It's great.
That's why it's great.
It's awesome.
So good.
But anyway, so it was a weird experience because I was like, you feel like you're alone appreciating this thing, and then we've brought him up on Funhaus before, and it is a fun thing. He makes fun of himself in the show about how none of us told any of our friends. He's like, "Oh, thanks for coming to my show. Wish you told someone about me."
Yeah.
Appreciate it. He was really shitting on himself a lot. He did this whole thing where there's a speech that went up beforehand that you're supposed to sing along to, and
Well,
it was all about how he's huge sensation,
He
except
did it to
for
the
in the
British
U.S.
national anthem. So
Yeah.
it's basically you were reading the anthem.
Yeah. But the whole thing was riddled with that kind of humor and stuff. And then he did this one bit where he was like, this stage used to be where the Sands Casino was, and this is where the Rat Pack performed most nights. This is the stage, and so this is a dream come true for me, and it's amazing. So I'm gonna sing this Dean Martin song. He sings the Dean Martin song, and then after his song's over, he goes, "I lied about the stage." He goes, miles away. But so it was really fun. But I just wanted to.
But it taps into something bigger, I think, because we all have weird little interests.
Yeah. So I was that it isn't something unique to me, but I feel like everyone, there are things we have now, and I especially think coming from our generation, it's easier to have those interests that you're like, I'm the only one. You can you may not be the only one, but you can feel like you're the only one. So I wanted to bring you guys in to kind of ask you guys
Oh.
how you feel about that.
And you brought in the man
The first person I thought of when I mentioned it, or actually at least was like, you should ask Joel. He's got tons of interest no one cares
He's a
about.
weirdo who likes weird stuff. He's always liked weird stuff. He's been ostracized for it.
No, I should say first and foremost, flavor and variety is the spice of life, right? And I think, for the most part, you appreciate people that have a wide array of differences from you because it fills in the gaps and it makes things less boring. So I personally like when people have like weird little, hobbies or weird little like fetishes for stuff, non-sexual.
But sometimes sexual.
But sometimes sexual.
Could be. Don't make judgment.
But like I kind of like that. I think I always kind of gravitate toward weird people.
Well, you
sometimes
yourself,
to my fault. You say.
That's because when that happens, you end up in Vegas going to a Robbie Williams.
Did you drive or did you fly?
We flew.
Clue.
Can I get an airplane story?
An airplane story.
Damn, airplane
Why do you
story.
want
Pretty
This is not the
uneventful.
RT podcast.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Come on,
It's
Joel.
pretty low, like about air travel being bad.
Yeah.
I
It's
guess
okay, I
for the
was,
sake of RT podcast, I will say that we normally fly American, flew a different airline, and it was remarkable how much worse it felt.
Really?
Just more than anything, the boarding of the plane sometimes feels like cattling.
Yeah.
Like a lot of planes divide you up into groups like A, B, C, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But this one felt like it was like first class, then main cabin extra plus, then main cabin extra plus squared times 2 or whatever, then comfort squared, and then there was like cabin, and then there was everyone else.
There's no rhyme or reason to it.
So like it was like 5 people went in with the first group, 3 people went in with the second group, 4 people went in with the next group, and then everyone else, then all remaining 100 passengers went in with it. It just seems like a weird organizational thing.
I had a parka and I was shivering. Like I was out in the Russian winter because I didn't know when my group was going to get called.
And
I had
when
no
are they
idea
going
what
to
was
finish
on.
building that Austin airport, right? I feel like it's been under construction forever.
Yeah.
We didn't go through Austin.
That's the flavor I wanted.
But yeah, so I want to ask you guys what interests you guys
I want
have.
to hear Joel's first or Elise's first.
This is a
You
safe
go
space.
ahead.
bro.
All right,
Yeah.
All right. So it's pretty. You guys know.
We know
me.
you.
My family was like we were a Broadway family growing up, so we listened to a lot of Broadway soundtracks when I was a kid.
You were all orphans
We-
somehow. Your parents.
I don't get. Do you cut the fingers off your gloves, or did they come that way?
You buy them that way?
Okay.
Yeah. From Orphans Unlimited. So where all my friends, like in 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, when all my friends were listening to Paula Abdul and Michael Jackson, we were listening to Cats and South Pacific. So I never knew contemporary music growing up.
But you knew Rum Tum Tigger.
Whoa, you Rum Tum Tugger.
Sorry, excuse me.
Oh.
Sorry, that was a test.
Cats was the first show I saw on Broadway proper.
Wow.
Very interested in the movie that's coming out. Anyway,
You wonder why you're ostracized. I love that you brag about it.
Yeah, I know. And then you talk down to us like we're stupid.
these idiots don't know what a tugger is. So yeah, growing up, like I was never able to participate in like singing at like lunch. Everyone was like singing Vanilla Ice or whatever, and I like never knew the lyrics, but I was like fucking there for music class when we were singing, whatever from Oklahoma, and it's sort of continued in my life. None of my most of my non-gay friends in LA like just don't like musicals, especially because of the jobs I've had and the companies I've worked for, which have been G4, Machinima.
It's all video games.
It's all like media and video games, and it's all mostly like dudes who don't fucking care. So it's been a very like sort of self-imposed exile into the island of misfit musicals. But this sort of pairs with this other philosophy that I have, which is as a kid, I'm going to take a little bit of a divergent track here. As a kid, you really enjoy things all the time because you're experiencing everything for the first time. Everything that you experience as a kid is like a wonderment because you've never had a fucking lollipop before. Or if you've had a lollipop and you never had one with bubble gum in the center.
Yeah.
And as an adult, you have fewer new experiences. And so I try to limit my exposure to things before I can experience them so that I can enjoy things for the first time. And I do that specifically, I started doing that with musicals. So even though I love Broadway musicals, I'm not caught up with a lot of contemporary Broadway because I don't want to listen to the soundtracks before I can see the show. I want to experience the music the way
The context.
in the context of the show. And when I'm able to do that, like I went to go see A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder like 2 or 3 years after it came out and it was touring, but it blew my mind. I didn't expect there's a big twist in the show where like there's a plot twist in the show, but there's also a meta twist about like how the show is constructed that's like awesome and like amazing and like it's really funny, and I would not have gotten that experience if I had been listening to the soundtrack beforehand. So I've self-ostracized myself. I've self-ostracized from my friends by listening to musicals, but then I've also ostracized myself from the people who listen to musicals but not listening to contemporary.
Well, but I do feel like that isn't necessarily your fault because that's kind of the business model of musicals. That's how they distribute them. I remember for what I signed up for Amazon or something and they gave me Book of Mormon for free. I never listened. It just sat there in my Amazon things of like available, never listened to it because I was like, why would I do this? Like there's more to the show. And then like whatever 2 years later, we finally saw Book of Mormon when it came to LA for the 4th time or something. I
would argue like that's a show that's like super funny watching it. I don't know, like the soundtrack, I wouldn't want to listen to it.
Well, I think when you know it, when you have the context, it makes the songs better.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like Hasadiga Ibuai, like when you understand it, like you're like, oh my God, that's so funny when you're thinking about what the characters were enduring at the point.
I would say that although most everyone likes to rip on you for loving musicals, it's by far one of your most enduring characteristics.
Oh, absolutely.
And what people, it's one of those things where it's like, I would not change a thing about you loving musicals. Like,
it disarms your otherwise imposing demeanor.
It's true, yeah.
But yeah, I guess it's the same thing with like you love ska, Bruce.
Right.
In an unironic way.
Please always ostracize me for that because I think it's ridiculous. And
But I love that you love ska.
We should write an all ska musical.
No.
Wow.
No.
Don't
The
do
first
that.
musical no one's ever seen.
But I would not accept. Well, maybe I would accept a certain amount of money for you to not love ska.
I would accept
how
that.
much-
I would
how
accept
much we talking
any amount
here?
of money
For the most
now.
part,
$100, $200.
if someone offered me, they said $200, and we'll
It
wipe it.
doesn't matter. The deal can't be done.
Oh,
He could never not love ska.
But I love that you love ska.
Well, it's the same with Joel. I love that he loves musicals.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you bring up how you avoid. I guess it's like the same with trailers and movies and stuff like that. I've been doing that a lot more recently because I want to experience things for the first time, and that's an interesting way of putting that you're ostracizing yourself from other people because you basically are. Especially with musicals, although musicals are I think they're pretty large in terms of the audience and stuff they have, right? I mean, like generally there are a lot of people that like musicals and watch musicals.
I would argue, like growing up as a teenage, like as a kid in Baton Rouge, Louisiana in the 1990s, like
then no,
yeah,
you're
like
correct.
I was not. Listen, I was not part of an online community of like
Yeah.
reddit.com/r/Broadway.
which is potentially why I think this may be a generational thing. Like at a certain point after social media, like if you're a child in the post-social media world, it's like, well, you can always find
You can find your
other
group.
people, and online discourse is sometimes just as meaningful to that generation as it is in person.
And I hope that as you become an adult, like it's not as ostracizing as you think. Like that the people that are your friends and you really care about you, even though they might not be as hog wild about musicals as you are, they would still go to, like I would go to a musical with you.
Yeah.
Because I know you're passionate
Can't
about
afford
it.
the tickets. Too expensive.
Can't afford the tickets.
They
He
are
said.
so
James
much
says
money.
no.
Yeah, well,
They're so expensive.
you know, I read something recently about a year ago that Broadway musicals Broadway live theater has always been about 10 times the price of a contemporary movie ticket, which holds true for most shows. Like not like a superstar.
Oh,
show
so
like
it
Hamilton.
scales as movie tickets.
It's always scaled with times. Like when a movie was 10 cents, a Broadway show would be $1.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because you just make one of the movies,
Yeah.
and then you just send them out.
And everyone
You're paying for the initial cost of making the movie, and then the very minor cost of duplicating the movie.
Yeah.
Whereas every single time you go to a theater, you're paying for those actors to be performing and the stagehands and everything to happen all at the same time. Yeah. So it makes sense. I understand why they're expensive.
How did you get into ska, Bruce? You wanna know what ska
that
is?
wasn't-
Is that your thing? Or is that
That
what
wasn't
you-
even my thing.
Yeah, what's your thing?
Well, real quick, we're gonna get into Bruce's thing,
okay.
but I'm gonna do an ad read because I want to
Please.
talk about something we can all agree on: saving money.
Oh.
They're talking. I'm talking about honey. The reality is, if you're not shopping around, you're probably not saving money. So what if there was a way for somebody to do the shopping around for you? Well, that's exactly what Honey does. Honey is a free tool that you download to your computer's browser while you shop online. Honey scans the internet for coupon codes and other discounts. Then it automatically applies the coupon with the biggest savings to your cart at checkout like magic. It's that thing where if you're gonna, sometimes you go to a place and you're like, oh, I really want to buy from this place. Maybe I should Google to see if there's any coupons for it. I know I do that. Saves me time to just use Honey. Boom. You don't have to do that extra Google. 90% of the times those coupons are expired and I have to pay full price for Six Flags. It's like, but Honey does all that work for you. Save yourself some time, save yourself some headache. It works on over 20,000 sites like Amazon, Nordstrom, J.Crew, Nike, Best Buy, Nordstrom again. It's listed here twice.
Get the double Nord.
Those are their notes. They want you to know Nordstrom's ready to go. Target, Macy's, and more. It takes zero effort to install, just 2 clicks and you're ready to start saving anytime you shop online. But don't just take my word for it. Here's what a couple 5-star reviews had to say. Love Honey. Heard about it through a podcast, maybe this one, and I finally caved after hearing their sponsored ads so many times I cannot believe I haven't used it earlier. So useful and have saved me so much money since I installed it. Was an idiot not to install it before, and then it's like the face with the P. And then so the tongue coming out, but it's the lowercase p. So it's like they put the tongue out the center and then had more mouth out to the side. There's really no reason at all not to use Honey. It's free and easy to use on your easy to install and use on your computer in just 2 clicks. Don't take it from me, take it from our viewers. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/dude. That's DUDE. Joinhoney.com/dude. Honey, the smart shopping assistant that saves you time and money, honey.
I was promised a couple of 5-star reviews, and I only heard 1 5-star.
You want another
review.
one?
Two's
I
a
can give you
couple,
another
three's a
one. I
crowd.
got another one here. I didn't think I needed
There it
it.
is.
Definitely needed it.
5 stars.
5
Glowing
stars.
review from Ann in Kansas.
There it
I
is.
made up that second part.
Oh,
Maybe. We don't know. We don't know where that review's from. Thank you, Honey, for your sponsorship. Bruce.
yes.
Get into your interest, you big nerd.
Mine's weird. Yeah, it's not ska, although it could be ska. It was Star Wars, but Star Wars wasn't popular when I got into it in 1991.
Not at least in the way that it is now.
It was interesting because Star Wars died off around like 85. 83 was Return of the Jedi, and then 85 it went away and it became this niche thing, kind of like Star Trek, where both Star Trek and Star Wars nerds were looked at the same way, which was nerds, like the biggest nerds. And I remember really liking Star Wars when I was a kid.
How'd you get into it?
My parents showed me the movies over and over and over when I was really young.
They
and
imprinted it on you.
they totally did.
As a baby.
I latched on to because I probably saw the first movie when I was 3,
Yeah.
right? And then I just kept seeing it over and over and over. And I'm sure my parents were worried about me because it wasn't going away. It was like I kept asking for more Star Wars things, and they were like, "There isn't any."
You were like,
Yeah.
but isn't there
Oh,
another?
it's just laser football.
Yeah.
Go play with this laser football.
You're like, Mom, isn't there another trilogy? And she was like, No, son, that would be stupid.
So around 90, 91, I was like 9 or 10, and I was like, okay, there has to be. There was no internet at the time. So I started looking, and I looked for books. And it turns out, in 1991, there had been 30 Star Wars books out. Like, they had released these books for years and years and years after Return of the Jedi. Nobody knew that. And I was like, well, all right, I've got all this. So I consumed that material just with so much abandon. It was just like, I would read book after book after book, just over and over and over. I had a Discman with the Star Wars soundtrack that I put in.
Wait, so sorry.
No, yeah, I'm getting to
know.
it. I'd sit in my bedroom when I was like 11 years old. Sit in my bedroom, put my little Discman on with the Star Wars soundtrack and read the books.
Mm-hmm.
The best times of my life right there. That was it. It was like watching a brand new movie with the Star Wars soundtrack and the books.
And all your friends were there.
It's true.
Admiral Akbar was
Han
there.
and Luke and Leia,
Shash.
Chewbacca, and
I love that.
Oh, no.
Porkins was there.
Pork and dead. But yeah, I mean, like, it was like, I think you talked about how you did that in Lord of the Rings, right? Where you would somebody talked about how they listened to Lord of the Rings soundtrack and would like read the book. Maybe it was you.
No, because
No.
I got into Lord of the Rings way pre.
He had
Lord
no
of the Rings.
No, but
soundtrack.
I mean that sounds
Movies,
amazing. I
movies.
do listen to the soundtrack all the time.
Oh, I don't know. It was somebody I was talking to
But
about it.
I was with you there. I read not probably as many of the books as you did, but I read the Admiral Thrawn trilogy.
That is widely regarded as the best trilogy, and it's actually really well written.
I read the Jedi Academy trilogy. There's a lot in there to love. I also read They go into like the abandoned like catacombs of Coruscant. It's very cool.
Was there ever like a more young adult
There was.
series of books? I feel like I remember seeing those at the library because I was at the library all the time.
There were a ton of young adult series that I was too old for. at least.
Oh, too cool.
Wow.
It's Star Wars, but it's not cool.
He didn't
Star
read
Wars.
Goosebumps. He read Fear Street.
I was 12 years old, and I remember thinking to myself, "Young adult?
Yeah.
That's not me."
I am a man.
Today,
Let us go, mother.
I have pubes to grow.
and the worst part about this, so like what I used to do is I would read all these books and listen, but I didn't tell anybody I did that. Never told anybody because like I was embarrassed about that. I didn't like. I knew if anybody ever heard about that, they'd be like, "You fucking nerd! Like, come on, what are you like, Star Trek?" And so what I started doing was in my off time, I started building models. Started building Star Wars models. They had a ton. I was really bad at painting, but I was good at building. So I build them and then I put them up on my little shelves in my bedroom. And then when around like 14, maybe 13, 14, I started having friends over. And they would come in, they'd see the models and be like, "What the fuck is this?" And I'd be like, "Well, it's a Star Wars ship. It's an A-wing." And they go, "What do you mean, a Star Wars ship? Those movies, they don't have any new movies anymore." I was like, "Those are from the old movies. Those models are from the old movies." And I was like, "I know you didn't see the ship, but it's an A-wing."
I would say they're also probably deep cuts.
Yeah,
right?
they were
It's
definitely
not
deep
even like the
cuts.
Millennium Falcon
No,
or whatever.
they were
It's,
deep cuts. And
Were there any friendship ending models?
there were never any friendship ending models, but I did happen to get a few of my friends into Star Wars.
Oh,
okay.
that's
Good
great.
for
That's
them.
good.
Yeah, so like I kind of evangelized it, and then I tell you what, when the Star Wars trilogy was re-released in 1997,
Yeah.
Bruce rose to power as the most popular kid in
I don't know
school.
about that.
But was it like you like a Palpatine power? Like you were like yes, or was it like a good power?
No, it was a
Like,
good power.
okay.
The homecoming king at our high school was the head of the Star Wars club. I was the vice president.
Vice Chancellor.
There were at least 10 kids in that club
Wow.
every week.
Wee.
10 kids, but this was a high school of 1,200, just so you know.
Yeah.
That's
But but either way, that was a big deal.
Were you on, as a Star Wars fan and purist, were you on the side of, were you young enough to enjoy the re-release remastered, or were you a purist and like, no, I want to see the outlines?
I
and
was
the
young.
garbage?
I know I was young enough because
I thought it was cool at the time.
So and also I had never seen the movies in theaters.
Yeah, me neither.
So that was a big
Oh,
deal for me
that's
because I
cool.
remember being like, I never got to see these movies in theaters.
With a crowd of people.
And everybody kept saying there's never going to be any new Star Wars movies.
Yep.
You'll never get anything. And so when these movies came out in the theaters, I was just like blown away. And it didn't matter this bad CGI. Who cares?
Yeah.
Didn't matter. So
I thought like at the time, I for sure was like, whoa, the explosions are bigger. Whoa, there's a back there.
yeah, that's right.
Don't. He wants credit for the do-back reference.
But either way, mine is kind of strange because it turned into more pop culture than ever before, and so a lot of people have been, like, oh, like Star Wars, like everybody likes Star Wars, and I'm like, well, not.
Now it's cool to like.
I was like,
Star
I
Wars.
liked it when not everybody liked it. So.
I would imagine, I did not like Battlestar Galactica, either old or new, but I would imagine it would be akin to being a huge Battlestar Galactica fan in the 90s when it was a laughable IP.
Yeah.
It was laughable, yeah.
And then it came back and people who made fun of it for years and years and years suddenly fell in love.
Maybe not laughable, but like Doctor Who, just coming back and being like, I was
Yeah.
a Whovian
Doctor Who has kind of
before it
taken
was-
that, that resurgence,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden it's like a thing that people like.
Or it's
all
like
over now.
listening to Robbie Williams for 2 decades,
Just
and
like
then
that.
Under the Radar Volume 4 comes out, and it's like a huge hit in America, and then everyone, and he's everywhere, and you're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Relatable.
You know what I keep
It's
thinking?
like not even his best album.
I actually keep waiting for Robbie Williams to somehow make a resurgence, or even an insurgence.
I know.
In L-
you have
in,
to surge.
This is
Yeah.
going to sound really lame and defensive of Robbie Williams, but I feel like he isn't manufactured enough for
I get
like
that.
one, he's old,
I know
but
what he's
2,
saying.
he's not
Defending him.
he's not manufactured enough for mainstream Western pop music.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just for you.
It's just for me. He needs to
Did he
do.
sing to you? Did he look at you and sing to you?
He did at one point. He pointed.
He doesn't want American fans anyway.
He doesn't need
Right?
him because he's got me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's my thing.
That's good. It's
a good
funny.
thing.
It's funny too because the only thing separating you from your peers in that scenario was the onset of information, kind of like the information age.
Yeah, it
Because
was.
you don't know that at the time, but if you're thinking about like, oh, there's 50 books. Well, they don't make books that people don't read. You
Right.
know, so but you don't
But I
think
didn't
of
know
that.
that.
You don't
No,
think
yeah.
of that when you're 10 years old.
Right.
You think, well, I'm the only person who has any of these books, so no one else cares. And I guess they just keep making them for me or whatever.
Well, there's something magical about finding someone else that knows about the thing that you know about in person and going like, what? You've read these books? Like we can talk about and that doesn't really exist anymore because of the internet, which isn't a bad thing. It's just more of like, it just doesn't exist.
I don't know if it exists or not. Like I'm not like we're not in high school, and there is like that moment of like
that's true.
when you're learning new stuff in high school. Like I didn't know about Monty Python until my friends clued me into Monty Python, and then you discover it together, and then you go into like and the show only at the time was deep cut VHS, but there's got to be that experience still where maybe kids are discovering old episodes of The Simpsons, like first 4 seasons or something, where it's a show that's been on forever, but like, have you seen these old episodes?
Yeah.
I don't know, like maybe that
Yeah.
exists. Hey kids,
I guess you can like go online and find anyone that shares your interest. It's a bad example, and I don't mean it to sound as egotistical as it's going to sound, but like when someone will post in our subreddit and be like, "I met a Funhaus fan in the
yeah.
wild," and they're like, "I
Yeah.
never thought I would meet anyone else
That's
who likes
true.
Funhaus," and I'm like,
true.
"I didn't think you would either."
isn't this whole
But-
conversation basically like we're talking about the experience of Tumblr, isn't it? Like niche interests and finding those communities and like realizing that you're not alone, kind of, sort of.
kind of,
It-
yeah.
it is, but without the internet.
Where we at?
And I think Tumblr also carries the impetus of like, well, I
Furries,
should,
you're right.
well, no, yeah, but I should share this because other people want to hear
Yeah.
or want to see the gifts that I want to post.
Yeah.
This, I think, is all of us holding on to things where we're like, we probably shouldn't share this.
Yeah.
I
because
actively hid
it'll
mine.
just be crickets.
Yeah, no, I actively
yeah.
hid it away from people. I didn't want to tell anybody about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Me too. I've done that.
Did you ever? Was there ever a scenario like either before or after you had a negative interaction with friends coming over and seeing your Star Wars stuff, where you felt inclined to put things away or hide things before people arrived, or were you like, no, it's part of who I am, and I'll kind of accept the consequences of it?
Gosh, that's a really good question. No, there wasn't ever a time that I was gonna like fully give it up, but there were times that I would be like, should I put these models away? Like I remember thinking to myself, like, should I just hide these so that no one asks me questions and I don't want to answer these questions, and like, don't worry about it. And I think there were probably a couple times I did that, and
Yeah.
eventually I just gave in and I was like, you know what, fuck it. If they ask me, I'll tell.
Years when I was in middle school, I built, prior to there being any fully functioning, like fully, licensed Lego kits. Also, I was still playing with Legos in middle school. I built a fully functioning X-wing with you could.
Would they
lock
open
them-
up?
They would open up.
The
and
S-foils?
The S-foils would. You could lock them in attack position. You could lock
Oh.
them in flight position.
Yeah.
You could raise and lower the cockpit and everything, and they had little landing feet. And I just built it out of scratch myself. And I kept it out for a long time in my bedroom, and then years later, I was here in LA. This has been like 8 or 9 years ago. My parents sent a whole tub of my old shit out to LA in like a storage thing, and I got my X-wing back, and it was like it was in there, and I was fucking rad. I loved it, and I put it on my a shelf in my room. But like, if I was dating somebody and I was inviting them back to my room for the first time, like if I was like, all right, this is a relationship I might want to have, I would hide that shit.
He'd cover
Absolutely.
He'd cover it with like a signed Rum Tum Tugger. Like, that's better. I got it right that
Oh,
time.
you
right?
mean you would hide the X-wing that you built out of Lego when you were 12?
Yes, I would, because I wanted to be. Listen, the year was like 2007 or 8, and we were all
Okay.
hyper masculine back then.
There's-
we were wearing Von Dutch hats. We were wearing Axe body
Ed
spray.
Hardy.
Yeah, everyone looked like they got out of a semi truck.
Yeah.
Well, like a semi truck that was transporting the cast of Rent. You know?
Keep dancing, fellas. Elise, do you have? I mean, I know
Oh
you do.
God, I mean, yeah, it is very much the experience of a lot of things that I was very lonely in as a child have become mainstream, or at least accepted. And I was a pretty lonely kid. Like I was alone a lot. I didn't really hang out with friends outside of school that much. So I did a lot of like independent activities. I was always like writing or drawing or doing something like that. But I my mom gave me like an old typewriter because I was a very avid reader from a very, very young age. Like I probably from the ages of like 4 to 10, I always had a book. Like to the point where my mom would tell me to stop. You know, I'd be at dinner and she'd be like, "Put the book away." I got into mysteries really early on, and particularly anything that involved like I would read Agatha Christie books at age 7, and I wouldn't understand a lot of it, but I just liked the idea that there was this detective and this was the setting and everything.
How do you pronounce his name?
Hercule Poirot. But I also I would watch the
French.
I would also watch the Hercule Poirot series with my mom. So, but my mom gave me like an old typewriter, and I fashioned myself to be a little bit of a gumshoe writer. So I would write I would type little I would write mysteries, and I would try to emulate, the mysteries I saw, which were like, oh, there's been a murder at this mansion, and there's who done it of these 14 mysterious suspects. But no other kids were doing that, and I'd go to school and I'd bring my manuscript in my backpack and be like, no, I'm not gonna show anyone. But I mean, I had lots of really nerdy interests that I was always all in on. I like to build little dioramas.
I just imagine the process for you is like it's done. Take it out and then immediately into the fire.
I loved it. I think I loved the act because I loved picturing myself as this mystery writer, and this was in the atmosphere of the typewriter, and I was doing all of it.
How often did you imagine yourself like a mystery happening around you, and you became the person that had to investigate the mystery? How often did you imagine that?
The thing is, it wasn't even that. It wasn't even as cool as that. It was I'm the person chronicling this mystery. That to me was the sexy part of it.
I wasn't there, but
yeah, that's the sad part.
Okay,
it wasn't even like that. I was a kid where I was like being a mystery writer would be so cool.
That's so cool.
I also loved the Muppets, as you all know. I love the Muppets from a very, very young age. And Joel and I have we've sympathized with one another about this because it definitely was not cool to like the Muppets when I was a kid. It was perceived as something that babies liked.
Was that because of Muppet Babies?
I don't know.
No,
Maybe
I think it's they're colorful and they're puppets.
They're
They're puppets and they're sincere.
Yes, it's a very the messaging of the Muppets is very sweet.
It is.
And very wholesome.
And also they
sing and yeah.
Musicals were not cool.
And so it definitely was not it was something I did not share.
Yeah.
I did not share in elementary school that I liked the Muppets. And even though I was going home and when Muppets Tonight came out, I record every single episode and I was watching it 3 times. It's something I did not tell anyone. There was one kid in my class that I also knew liked the Muppets. So in secrecy, I did divulge to him that I liked the Muppets. But now I feel it's like, man, every influencer on the planet, if they can go to the Jim Henson Studios, it's a huge thing.
Have you been?
No.
All right.
I'd love to.
Jim Henson, if you're watching.
No, he's not.
But I think it's not something that I think I look at with resentment. It's really nice to have other people appreciate the thing that you appreciate now.
The Jim Henson Studios does parties.
Yeah.
You can book out parties, and I had looked into having her birthday there once, but you need it's parties of 200 or you need it. They have to be big events.
You could get that together.
That are really expensive.
And they did the thing where they
Really
they opened it up for 6 nights or whatever, remember? But it was impossible to get into.
I also felt the same way. My family liked Muppets, and we were a Muppet Take Manhattan family, obviously.
It's my favorite one.
It might be the best. I don't know.
I think it's the best Muppet movie.
2 experiences of mine really fulfilled my Muppet craving when I moved out to LA. And one was one of my first fake jobs was I was a script reader, and for a tiny production company I was renting space on the Henson lot. And so whenever I would come in to take a meeting with them and give them my coverage, I would go sit in the main waiting room, which was just a cavalcade of retired Muppets and all their Emmys and Oscars, which was mind-blowing at the time. A few years later I became a PA on a pilot. Have I told you this story?
Maybe, yeah.
It was a pilot that TBS was doing called Late Night Buffet with Augie and Dell, and it was a Muppets. It was Muppets, and we shot 4 episodes, and it was the writers from Animaniacs making a Muppets show with full body, big Italian, full body Muppets on behind a desk, and there was a monkey band.
Ooh.
And being a PA on this show was amazing. It paid nothing, but you're on the lot, and the writers would be like, "Oh, go to the creature shop, grab some eyes, and we need to approve whatever. And I'd be like, yes. I will go into the creature shop where they build Muppets and grab the eyes of the Muppets and hold them in my hands and bring them to you. That is a thing that I, making minimum wage, would pay you to allow me to do.
It's super surreal. It's I think it's one of the things about living in this town, because I think we've had lots of weird, super surreal experiences among us now. Like when Nintendo had they did the Star Fox Muppets a few years ago at E3, and then they had like the Reggie Iwata and Shigeru Miyamoto Muppets, and Jim Henson Studios made those. And then at E3, I was like, I'm standing but mere feet from something that the Jim Henson Studios made. It's like really weird stuff that, like, have you met any of the Star Wars actors?
I produced an interview with Mark Hamill, and it was the same deal. It was like, you're blown away. I think we all kind of grew up fans of something that was relatively niche, and you see it all here in Los Angeles over and over and over. And like some things I just never get used to. Some things I'm just like, I can't believe that this is part of my life now, or part of what what I see.
This is slightly tangential. It's awesome about living in LA. We're great. We live in LA, but the opportunities that we have living in LA. One of the things, Simpsons for me was another. It was the most popular show on the planet in the '90s. So it wasn't like it was niche, but it still felt like you were in this community of people that like the same thing that you like. And when we went to the Simpsons live show at the Hollywood Bowl, that was so cool. Like Conan O'Brien was up there singing the Monorail song. Hank Azaria was there. You don't get I went to go see at the El Capitan Theater, which is a movie theater that's owned by Disney. They showed the Black Cauldron, which they never show in theaters. I had never seen it on a big screen before. It's hard to get a VHS copy of it. And not only do they show it in the theater one night only, they had the animation team doing a Q&A of that movie, including a 91-year-old animator who had worked on the original Sleeping Beauty and Snow White. And it was it was so if you are a fan of especially entertainment niche interests, LA, there's no other place on earth.
I saw Silver Linings Playbook, and Al Pacino, Robert De Niro came out to talk at it, and then Harvey Weinstein came out to talk, and I'll never forget.
Did he ask you out on a date?
Yeah, he did. He called me. He said, "Talk to me behind this potted plant." No, but I have seen Harvey Weinstein live.
It does seem interesting because not the opposite, but the sister side of that is always New York being an entertainment city. But New York seems like the kind of thing where, as opposed to something glamorous, that was a glamorous experience with something that you love, New York seems to be, you're walking down the street and across the street is Woody Allen, and you cross the street, you're like, "Oh, hello, Woody Allen," and he mutters at you.
Don't talk to me.
Which is a true story that happened to my mom.
He was with his daughter at the time. He didn't want to be disturbed.
Wife, daughter?
Wife, I guess.
But it's that's New York also has that too. Yeah. But it's just them living their human lives, not wanting to be disturbed, and they also have to use all the same walking and transportation that everyone else does.
You can't bother Woody, Wow,
there it is. That's a great impression of Rodney Dangerfield. Well, that's pretty awesome that everyone had all those experiences.
But I do think it sucks when people. I'm sorry, I know you're trying to wrap it up.
Oh, I thought you were going to hit me with a
segue.
I thought you were going to hit me with a segue.
No, I was just going to say something heartfelt that.
That's revenge for the time that she set up a segue.
Sorry.
No,
life's anybody that's young and impressionable may be watching. Life's too short not to enjoy the things that you like, and to kind of wear that proudly.
But I think I'm curious. I guess this is a question to anyone watching. Is there a gap there? If you are a child of the social media age, do you feel like there's something that you love that you couldn't find a community for somewhere? Have you ever felt truly alone with an interest? I know people sometimes just feel bad and feel alone. Yeah. But with an interest specifically, have you ever felt like there's an interest that you don't have to share with people?
I think there's something really wonderful about our the time that we grew up. It was a really wonderful. It was probably the last generation to be able to truly discover something and make you feel like you discovered it. The other side of that, though, is that I remember really wanting to play, really interested in Dungeons and Dragons, really wanting to play it, really into fantasy, but I was already so bullied enough in middle school that I knew that if I walked into the Dungeons and Dragons store in Baton Rouge, that I would just I would be ground into the dirt. And so I didn't want to do that. And I think the difference between now and then is that now there are so many ways to find like communities online. And while you might not have that same moment of like pure discovery and feeling like you've chartered uncharted territory, you can also not be embarrassed, like potentially be embarrassed by something because there are other people out there like you, and that's like a really cool experience too.
You can reinforce your own outlier interests using the internet and social media and what it is, which is a positive use of that kind of stuff. Well, I'm glad we've all found something that we love, something that we think is awesome. For those of you that haven't, might I recommend Bespoke Post? When you're constantly on the go, grinding away at the office or hanging out with friends, there's not much time to think about upgrading your style or apartment. Enter the Box of Awesome from Bespoke Post. They'll do the work for you to find quality and unique products to deliver every month. To get started, visit boxofawesome.com and answer a couple of questions about your interests. Star Wars or musicals or typewriters.
Whatever it is I like. I don't know. Who knows?
Answer a couple of questions about your interests and the kinds of things you want to upgrade to your lifestyle. Whether you're in search of the perfect drink, that's kind of a Lawrence. Lawrence is always looking for that stuff. Or a well-cut pad, Bespoke Post improves your life one box at a time. Every month you'll receive details on your upcoming box, and from there you can change colors, sizes, add extras, or even just skip it if you're not feeling it. It's because there's a diversity. They may send you a shirt, they may send you some cool wine. What do you do with wine?
Talking my language. You
A
drink it.
Decanter or something or whatever. Or
Guzzle.
something. They'll send you new cool stuff, so you should always take a look at the products that they're planning to send you to make sure that they fit or they're the right things, because there's a lot of stuff here. Bespoke Post offers essential goods and guidance for the modern man or woman, if you want to play that game, Elise.
I do.
Well, then you're in. So if you want to receive 20% off your first subscription box, go to boxofawesome.com and enter code DUDE, that's D-U-D-E, at checkout. That's boxofawesome.com's code DUDE for 20% off your first box. Bespoke Post, themed boxes for guys that give a damn.
Wow.
Which is that kind of intensity you should apply to your interests.
Yeah.
You should care.
Yeah, give a damn.
Care. Well, thank you guys for sharing that with me. I have another news story that I just saw the other day that I think is worth discussing. I mentioned it to you guys earlier. Theme parks are fun. We got all kinds of themes. Disney themes.
Harry Potter.
Nintendo
theme.
Land.
Nintendo Land
Nuts,
is
berries, and jams.
Nobody knows. They don't know,
Don't know about that.
It's Joel's passion and his interest, and he's
Six Flags
Jazz,
has
He's beautiful.
Compotes.
all kinds of stuff.
The composter.
Well, if you could make a theme park out of anything, what would it be?
Star Wars.
Okay, we already got that. What? Anything.
Lord of the Rings.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Oh, probably Lord of the Rings too, or mysteries.
All right. What if I told you you can get something better than all those things
All right.
in China?
Better than Star Wars?
Yeah.
Take our money now. What is it?
A Lionsgate themed theme park.
Wait, what?
Lionsgate.
What do you mean? So Lionsgate's the production
The production company that makes tons of huge
Like-
franchises,
like-
Such as.
Hunger Games
Wow.
and Twilight.
Uh-huh.
They're doing a theme park.
You said
They're doing China, the official country that's willing to settle for anything.
What are the attractions?
Well, like I mentioned,
And
there's
is
gonna
there a
be tons of
midnight
attractions.
in Paris
Let
ride?
me- well, close.
You know?
Here are
That's Woody
some of-
Allen. He's back.
it will span 22,000 square meters of indoor space and will feature 25 attractions, including 6 based on Lionsgate franchises, including Hunger Games,
Yeah.
huge franchise.
That's a huge franchise.
Twilight, massive
franchise.
Vampires.
global sensation, maybe even a phenomenon, a la Robbie Williams. The Divergent series,
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Sure.
yeah.
I watched-
Can
I
anyone
watched
name all
that.
those?
Divergent,
Insurgent.
convergent, insurgent,
Insurgent.
resurgent,
Detergent.
There you go.
Yeah.
What if I told you Now You See Me?
I've seen both those movies.
Cool.
Okay, so there's 2 movies. And
I've
they're
actually
about
seen
magic.
both, and they're both not bad.
Okay, imagine you could ride a ride based off that movie. That's right.
I'm not trying to
Dave
write a ride.
Franco's Now You See Me.
It's going to be a heist ride, I guarantee you.
All right.
It's gonna be-
What about this one? Gods of Egypt.
Oh, that's why you're interested.
Yes.
That's why you're talking about it.
Absolutely.
I never saw it.
Gods of Egypt
You
ride.
ended up never seeing it?
I don't think that's the thing. I don't think anyone saw it.
Did
Why
I
is
walk
this a
out
ride?
of it? Did I leave?
You did leave.
Okay.
What is no? I don't believe that. What is the international box office for Gods of Egypt?
I have no idea.
I'm
I
sure
looked
it's
up.
pretty high,
I thought
probably.
that I was thinking about the movie. This is different.
There's one more, Escape Plan.
What the hell is that?
I think that was the movie with Jason Statham.
What the? I don't know what that is at all.
What was this? I think Sylvester Stallone.
What?
Nope.
I think Sylvester Stallone was in Escape Plan.
The problem is that all these rides are going to be
Sylvester
big giant
Stallone and Arnold
screens
Yeah, that-
and chairs
yeah.
shaking you. If they made practical rides, it'd be great.
Whoa! It did
So-
very poorly.
Oh.
That's my favorite thing. I saw this and I was like, well, they got a couple there that made money, and the rest just seems like they're scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Guess how much money got on a production budget of $140 million?
Reportedly, could be less.
Guess how much money the domestic box office take of Gods of Egypt was?
Domestic?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 37.
50 million.
You're real close.
75.
31.
Oh my gosh, it's terrible.
Worldwide, including U.S., it's only $150 million.
Oh boy, that's a failure.
That's a failure. And
Well,
they're making
140, 150, that's $10 million. If someone gave you $10 million today, would you think that's a good deal?
Marketing. Don't forget about the
Oh.
marketing. Marketing budgets usually double the
jeez.
production budget.
So yeah, I can't wait. Apparently the Twilight and Hunger Games will feature via simulators, while Gods of Egypt will be the
worst.
subject
The worst.
of a purpose-built indoor VR roller coaster.
Yeah, I could actually get. I was thinking the only way to make that cool is holographics or VR.
No, I want
the
all practical.
Park will also feature shopping
I am a
opportunities
noob.
and restaurants.
Yeah.
The only good ride like that is
Steal my eye or whatever.
the Harry Potter ride is good. That's the
Yeah.
only one that
It's
is
a mix,
good.
though.
It's a mix, right?
What
It's a
would you
mix of
count
two.
that as? A roller coaster VR?
It's a mix of the two. It's a roller coaster
Yeah.
and it's a screen based.
I think the best of that is the Transformers ride, honestly.
Really?
I think Transformers is better than Harry Potter because
No.
Harry Potter, when you can see the crane, you see.
Yeah,
That's what I love.
I don't like seeing the
It's
illusion is
crappy.
broken when it goes from Harry flying through in a CG world to a spider that's like hydraulics are breaking.
Nah, when that Womp and Willow's coming at you.
Transformers is the only
Nothing
one that I
better.
feel like I've been on where I'm like, is that box on the screen or is that not?
Nah, it
but
stinks.
I don't know if that's what they mean by.
Give me
That's
Grinch
probably
Miss
what
any
it is.
day.
That's probably what it
That
is.
At
Grinch.
least go ahead.
I want that Grinch screaming in my face. That's what I want for
Is there
an
a
amusement
Grinch?
park.
There's a
Please,
Grinch
During
one?
Grinch Miss, yeah. They got him walking around the park.
Oh, just the guy in
I
the Grinch
want
costume.
Yeah,
It's
an
not a
authentic
ride.
experience.
This one's downtown LA. No, yeah, we did actually when we were in Vegas. We did Void.
Oh yeah, we did the Ghostbusters.
We did the
VR.
Ghostbusters Void.
Oh, I haven't done that one. I did the Star Wars one.
We've only done Star Wars before,
Cool.
and because they had Ghostbusters, and then they had another one which wasn't available called Nicodemus, which was set during the
Oh,
Chicago
it looked
World's Fair,
awesome.
and it was a
It looked
horror
great.
VR.
I thought it was about the
Bible
rats of
time.
Nimh.
I know.
Oh, I thought- I
I know
thought it
what
was-
you thought.
You got that excited for Secret of Nimh?
Yeah.
Hey, Secret of Nim is on Amazon Prime right now.
It's not good. I rewatched it recently.
The animation's good.
It's
The
fine to
animation's
watch.
fine,
Put it
but,
on in the
it's like,
background.
It's not,
Smooth.
it's not faithful to the book.
That's the problem.
I mean, he's
everyone
right,
had.
but
That's what everyone said. Well, I guess what other properties would you guys, if you could have other stuff in here,
From Lionsgate?
From Lionsgate.
What else
look up
do
the
they
list
have?
of Lionsgate properties.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Are there other Lionsgate? But it sounds like they've gotten all of them in that. in that
Now You
amusement park.
See Me was honestly more than Gods of Egypt the most funny one that I thought.
I think a game where, or an attraction where in an overpopulated post-apocalyptic world, children
China?
fight for food is really perfect for China.
Do you mean real life?
I just,
you
it's
did
very
just
appropriate.
kaboom China?
Yeah, I think he
I
did.
boomed him.
He boomed the whole country.
Boom!
Yeah.
They don't have the internet there, so it doesn't matter.
They have the internet. They just don't have our freedoms.
They only have Chinese internet.
I know.
They don't
our
have
freedom.
any other.
They have Aladdin and Weibo and
That's all that stuff. What are you talking
that's
about?
like their search engine and their
Oh, is it?
Amazon.
Oh, is it?
yeah.
Well, they have John Wick.
John
guys.
Wick's a pretty
Oh,
good
maybe
property.
like a
Yeah.
Continental would be cool.
Buffalo 66. Was that movie
I don't know
where
what
that
that
guy
is.
got a blowjob from Chloe Sevigny or whatever?
Gods and Monsters.
I don't know what that.
That's a good
I've
one.
heard it, but I don't know what that means or
I don't
is.
know what that means. The Red Violin. That'd be a great ride.
Jesus Christ.
What would you-
Dogma. Imagine a Kevin
That's
Smith
awesome.
ride.
Oh,
That would be
American
super fun.
Psycho, like a
American
They
Psycho.
do like a little haunted house.
And American Psycho 2. As long as they have American Psycho 2 in there, I'm good. I'll
Taxi
go.
There was a
2?
second one of those?
I thought there was there.
with Mila Kunis, right?
Yeah, that there was a second one.
Good for them.
I mean, they
Make
got a
that
lot
money.
of stuff here. Oh, which if I recall was that remake of Othello. It was.
Yeah.
What would you even do for a Hunger Games ride? Like, what's a ride in Hunger Games? Like, they drop you in an
The
arena?
tracker jackers are coming for you.
Oh, tracker jackers.
I think an attraction would be like they build the Capitol and they have like ridiculous dumb foods that you eat and
then
vomit.
throw it up.
I don't get it.
Oh, a
Hunger
cabin.
Games. Hunger Games, guys.
Never
Wait,
mind.
wait,
I've only
wait.
watched them on planes
Is-
and I never finished them.
Is the Maze Runner Lionsgate? We were talking about that before.
I don't think
I don't think
Maze
it
Runner's
is.
on here. House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh, okay. All right.
Huh?
Sure.
Do
Yeah.
a
House of a
Halloween.
Thousand
A haunted
Corpses.
No,
house.
isn't there some taboo in China about the walking, like basically zombies, like walking corpses? In World of Warcraft, the undead had to be, I think.
Skinned with something
I know
else.
the
Yeah, like
vampires.
skeletons.
Really?
I know the
what was
vampires.
that?
They can't be skeletons.
Right. Okay. They
They
can't
have
the
zombies, but
vampires
no
pop.
skeletons.
Irreversible, that French movie
About
where
rape.
Monica Bellucci,
Yeah.
Bellucci gets raped in a tunnel.
I don't know that we should put that in a theme park.
Okay, maybe not. What about Dirty Dancing Havana Nights?
There we go.
Oh, Day After Tomorrow.
There's a lot of
They do
communist
a
synergy
thing.
there.
You're sliding down.
Day After Tomorrow
ice
ride where you're
sheets
sliding
and-
down ice sheets away from the
Yeah.
tidal wave.
Oh, they made Saw. So I
Okay.
mean, there could do
Escape rooms.
Oh,
That's
Diary
actually-
of a Mad Black Woman.
Yeah.
Diary of
That's
a
the
Mad
first
Black
one that
Woman.
I think you could actually do, which is the Saw escape
Saw.
room.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think they're doing that. Actually, I think I know for a fact that there was a billboard for a Saw-themed escape room
Perfect.
in Vegas.
That's perfect.
There was also a Hunger Games exhibit. They have exhibits now in Vegas.
like an
so there's like an
Avengers
Avengers exhibit that you can
Oh, I
buy a
saw
ticket
that, yeah.
for and like see all kinds of Avengers
They
stuff.
had
But
this-
there's also a Hunger Games one.
They
too.
had Star Trek there for years.
That-
They had like the
that was
set,
at the-
and there's a whole experience.
Was it Stardust? What was it? It was at some shitty hotel.
Yeah, I think it was
Flamingo.
Stardust.
Was it Stardust?
It was Stardust.
It was a really garbage hotel. Because I did it.
Did you go?
It was terrible.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was
But those are all
garbage.
the original sets.
Larry the
Garbage.
Cable Guy. Hard Candy.
They'll have an animatronic. That he just
Oh,
does,
yeah.
he does his bits in the
Get
courtyard.
R done.
Yeah.
Get R done.
I guess they did the new Rambo.
Any of my
both the
movies?
Punisher movies. I
Woody
don't know.
Allen's
Annie
asking.
Hall
I
ride?
say Rodney
I can't
Dangerfield's
do
been
it.
dead forever.
You know? I can't.
Oh, Daybreakers
I saw that movie
in theaters.
with Olivia Munn.
Wow.
Olivia and I went and saw that film.
Yeah, maybe a little date.
No, it was for. It was
neither
for,
confirm nor deny.
it was for work.
Oh,
You share popcorn?
I think we did.
That is a date.
sometimes love does
Nope.
feel like
It was
work.
for work.
Butter?
Um,
Hole in the
Yeah.
bottom?
I mean,
No.
looking at this, I think they made the right
You're like, yes,
choice.
but it's for work.
I don't really see much else here. Oh, The Expendables.
Okay.
Ooh,
I could see that.
that's something else.
I could see
Oh, I
that.
Frankenstein. There should definitely be.
Oh,
Right,
the
Frankenstein. Technically, this could be a Dooku
Dooku
themed park.
Yeah, the Dooku.
Except it would be Universal.
Well, I'm
Right.
in.
Are you guys gonna go to China? To
Adam's gonna go to
visit?
China. He can do it.
I don't. I mean, Adam goes to every. single
Where in China is it going to be?
The Haunting of Sharon Tate.
I'm gonna say, let's see,
Is it Beijing?
someplace I can't pronounce.
It's either Beijing or Shanghai. It's got to be Beijing or Shanghai.
Uh,
If I know China.
Yeah.
Do they
we're
just
not-
avoid Hong Kong entirely? Is that what's going on?
It's opening this month.
It's not. Well, it's
Do people not go to Hong Kong?
No, I wanna go to Hong Kong.
Hankin
Food there is
Zhuhai, the so-called Greater Bay Area of China.
All right. Well, I didn't know that.
So there you go.
good job. China.
It's gonna have shopping opportunities and restaurants as well, just so you guys know.
You know, I wish I knew more about China. I wish they'd let more information out. I really do, because I feel like I'd like it.
They've got this protective barrier around the country that keeps information in.
What's it called?
Firewall, some sort of great firewall.
No wonder.
Great Firewall of China.
All right. Do you have anything else for this podcast?
I do.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, I know.
I
that's what
do.
we're waiting for.
Wait,
let me-
what's he waiting for? Why?
well, he wants to get to the last part of it, but we have to.
Because
do
I
a-
got to get home to my
We
baby
have
too.
to do an ad. Joel has to get out of here.
Your
so-
baby doesn't want you.
No, my nanny wants me to come home and get.
Well, when you get home, make sure you're smelling good, Joel, because this episode is also brought to you by Fleur. Every morning, I wake up, I spritz myself with a little bit of scent, because even though I might maybe want to smell a little bit better, then I already do smell pretty good. At least
yeah,
I smell pretty good
sometimes
when I
he
wake
hits,
up.
hits me in the eye with.
But sometimes I want to smell different, maybe smell a little better, smell a little fresh. But you know what I don't do? I don't check to see what I'm actually spraying myself with. You do this all over yourself. You're covering yourself. Do you ever actually look to see what's in it?
No.
I guess
No,
not.
you don't.
Why would I do that?
Well, because it could be anything, but that's what makes Fleur so exciting. They make stunning, non-toxic perfumes and list all of their ingredients online. For luxurious perfume that's all about good, clean fun, try Fleur. That's PHLUR. Get to know each of Fleur's scents with pictures, words, and even playlists on their sites, because if you think about buying a scent online, like that's why I feel like all the names of body washes are all
Yeah, you
like
haven't
so
smelled
weird
it,
or
yeah.
whatever. That's fine, but they actually give you kind of context as best as you can without using your sense of smell. And then best of all, you can then try them out, see how they work in your own life. Fleur's world-class perfumers, which I didn't even know, really even think about being a job, but is a job, are scent artists, and these perfumes are their masterworks. Masterworks, Joel. You can appreciate that. You've been to a museum.
Yeah.
Also, every Fleur scent is gender-free, the way all scents should be. Fleur is completely transparent. It's a completely transparent fragrance company. They tell you every ingredient that's in all of their perfumes and why it's there, which is important too. Bruce, you've tried some. I got a quote here from you. Do I have permission to read it?
Hit it.
It's hard to describe, but Hepcat, which is the name of the Fleur perfume.
That's the name of a ska band as well.
Really? Is that why you picked it? See? Is like that cologne your cool uncle would put on before peeling out on his motorcycle into the sunset.
I'm not saying that I'm the cool uncle. It's just, that's what it smells like.
Okay. Elise, you also have a quote here.
Yeah. Hit me with it.
You said that Hanami is soft, subdued, and refreshing. I also appreciate that it smells like a cool uncle as he pulls off the motorcycle.
No, I appreciate that it's not tested on animals.
Yeah, it's made with love and not tested on
Yeah.
animals. Another good thing. If Adam were here, he'd probably tell us about Greylock, which is like taking a road trip up the California coast with your cool uncle on his motorcycle. Hold on tight, kid. But yeah, these are more than just smells. These are scents. These are things that can kind of fill out your character or whatever you want to do. To make yourself feel more confident getting out there and making a good impression. So go to fleur.com today and use promo code DUDESOUP to get 20% off your first custom Fleur sample set. Pick 3 scents to try and get credit towards a full-size bottle of your favorite. That's promo code DUDESOUP at phlur.com to get your first 3 Fleur fragrance samples at 20% off. phlur.com.
Thanks, Fleur. Now hit us with the thing.
All right. You guys ready for the last part of this?
Yeah.
This is a little
You
special
better
thing.
believe it.
Playing a Joel game?
So
I
we're
just
playing a
can't
James
wait
game.
For this
quiz.
game.
That's nice. We're playing a James game. I generally, when I host a podcast, I do some sort
Yeah.
of game. It was movie details, and then we did fake Vince McMahon
That's right.
games or whatever.
glad
This is
I
my
wasn't
new
there for
game. Summer's coming. Big blockbuster movies are coming. One of the biggest of the summer is Lion King. Woo! Disney's Lion
Is
King.
it? Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
biggest of the summer.
Okay.
All Africa.
All right, sure.
Okay, huge release, massive cast, big characters.
Yol Africa in Africa.
Based on one of Disney's favorite properties.
It's not a
and
comedy.
cry for crabs.
Whatever.
I made a little quiz. I'm going to show you an image of one of the characters from the new Lion King movie, and you have to tell me what
fuck.
character it is.
Oh, I can nail this.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a hate crime.
I mean,
Go on.
it's animated,
It's animated.
right? It's animated.
No,
All the
it's-
characters have so much
that's live
character.
No, it's live action.
Well, it's animated.
It's not animated. It's digital artistry.
Live
Digital effects.
action.
It's-
Well, either way, one of the most important things about a movie is knowing what character's what.
All right.
So I think
Okay.
that's the
Simba.
fun test to play.
Well,
to
quit
see.
lying around and let's get to it.
Will Africa.
All right, Omar, let's pull up the first one here.
Simba.
All right.
That,
Scar.
that-
What character
That's-
is this?
I don't know. He
This
looks
is
like
some
he's
of
got a
these are
scar.
pulled from their
That's
character portraits. Some of these are pulled from their character portraits, and others are pulled
Mufasa.
from
Mufasa.
from the trailer and
Is
stuff.
that- is that-
He
Is
looks,
that old Simba?
he looks like he's got a scar,
yeah,
but
it
he
doesn't
looks
look
regal.
Big, it doesn't look big enough.
He doesn't look evil enough to be
that
Scar.
Mufasa?
I think it's Mufasa.
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 Who is it, Omar? Mufasa. All right.
You're right.
It
There. It
worked.
does look like a scar.
It works.
Yeah.
All right, next one, Omar.
It's regal.
What about that?
That's Mufasa.
That's the ghost or the darkness.
That's Mufasa again.
Simba.
I think you're just showing us Mufasa
I think that's
again.
Mufasa.
Are you
again,
showing us
too.
Mufasa over and over?
It's not all Mufasa.
But is this one Mufasa?
Simba.
Simba?
Older Simba.
Mufasa?
I think it's Mufasa.
I might be older Simba, but knowing you, it's probably Mufasa.
I know.
again.
Knowing James.
I don't know. It looks
That
like
joke would only go so far. Just a warning.
It looks
that
like
joke would only go
it looks
so
like
far.
the scar on the same scar on his
It's not
arm.
there's no scar.
It looked like a
I'm
scar.
gonna say Mufasa again.
Mufasa,
with
Mufasa, Simba.
Yeah.
Who is it? Mufasa!
Oh, James!
Okay, all right. All right.
James
next.
just rigs these games.
No,
They're just
it's
jokes.
not rigged.
They're just jokes.
All right, next one.
That's Nala.
That's Nala.
That's Nala.
Yeah.
Gotta be. It has to be, right?
Or
Okay.
what's the
Niobe.
Niobe.
But
yeah.
I think it's. I think it's
You don't think it's Niobe?
I think it's Nala.
You think that's
I'm going
adult
Nala. I'm going
adult
Nala.
Nala?
I think it's Nala.
Nala?
Yeah. Okay.
Nala?
It might be-
Nala?
Please tell me this isn't Mufasa.
Might be Niobe. Joel's checking his
I just
watch.
took
Might
the
be
mane off.
Niobe.
All right, who is it? Nala!
Nala!
Great job.
Nice job.
Great job. All right, next one.
That's Mufasa. Again.
That's Simba. That's Simba.
Is that Simba or Mufasa?
Well, he's got
no, that's different. That's Simba.
Okay, yeah, Simba.
That's Simba.
Is that Mufasa?
These are
again?
different.
Those are eyebrows.
These are
They
different.
gave him eyebrows to make him more
I'm gonna say
expressive.
it's Mufasa again.
No.
No way.
Simba.
You would do
Simba.
it. The madman.
James would do it. James would do it. But
Mufasa?
Mufasa again.
Simba.
Who is that character? Oh,
Simba!
good. I'm glad we're
It's
already
the
having
eyebrows.
issues
I know-
figuring out which fucking character is what in this fucking movie.
I know he had it, but I
All
just,
right, let's keep going.
Okay.
Who's that?
That's young Simba. You can see the eyebrows
Yeah,
are the
that's-
same.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, young
Yes.
Simba.
Good job. Good
Yeah,
job.
young
Joel.
It's
Simba.
digital.
Eyebrows are
Listen,
the
this
same.
is perfect animation. There's nothing wrong with it. You
Young
can tell the
Simba.
characters
Simba?
apart.
All right, let's see who it is.
Ooh,
Sarabi.
what?
No, not Niobe.
I'm
Who's Niobe?
afraid.
Who the fuck is Sarabi?
Sarabi is Mufasa's
mom.
wife. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Simba's
Niobe?
mom.
Oh no, wait.
But I guess
Sarabi's-
it's good that you guys
yeah.
had no idea how old this character was or anything.
What? I
She's
guess
got
How
a
could you
beard.
possibly
She's got a
I
tell?
guess
beard, yeah.
Simba gets the demarcations from
From
Sarabi.
Sarabi. Who is Niobe?
I don't know who that is.
that from The
That's from the
Matrix?
Matrix. Yeah.
All right, well that was a tough one though. That was a tough
Come
one.
on, give us like Timon or Pumbaa here. Jeez.
Well, no, that we already do that.
That's
They're
it?
not lions.
Is
No,
there
there's
more?
more. There's
Okay,
more.
okay.
All right, let's keep going. Who's
That's
that?
Scar.
That's
No, wait, no, that's Mufasa.
Mufasa.
That's
again.
Mufasa.
That's
He's
Mufasa.
Mufasa.
got the eyebrows. It can't be Mufasa.
No, that's Simba. That's Simba.
That's gotta be Simba.
That's Simba.
Simba.
Or-
Simba.
Or is that the same photo of Mufasa from earlier?
It definitely could be because we didn't recognize these before.
It's Simba.
Simba. I'm going Simba.
I'm going Simba.
Who is it?
Simba.
Oh, thank
Nice
God.
job. Nice job. But we still weren't very sure.
Okay.
I'd like to do this again with the animated versions. I should have done a second quiz with the ones from the cartoons, and then we go, that's easy. All right, let's keep going. Who's that?
That's little Simba.
That's little
no,
Simba.
no, no.
Yeah, I think it's little
Yeah.
Simba too.
Yeah,
little
Again,
Simba. His
Eyebrows.
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 The
I have
eyebrows.
the glare of the lights, so I can't always.
He
To
looks like a
James,
little
to James's point, if we watch this movie, I'm not going to be able to notice who has the eyebrows in a movie.
So Simba,
So who
Simba,
is it?
Simba.
Yeah.
Who is that? Ooh, it's
Nala.
Nala.
What?
She's also got
Who?
the eyebrows.
Well, I
'cause
guess
who cares?
They're all inbred, right? They're all,
Yeah, they're all
Fuck the
inbred.
same.
Basically her sister.
All right, that's the first one we've really gotten. No, second one. We got.
Yeah,
All
is
right.
Mufasa Nala's father as well? Do we know?
We can't confirm. I don't know.
I don't remember.
I'm not sure.
We don't
Maybe
see
only
her
have
dad.
like,
Niobe is.
Who's
I think we got-
Nala's Simba's sister?
no, it's his
She's-
wife, future wife.
Oh, that's right.
But we never see.
But also
her
maybe a
dad.
sister. They don't discuss that.
Remember the really sexy part where she says "Pandia"?
What?
Yeah, she goes.
Is that-
Pandia.
Like from the
Pandia.
cartoon?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
The sexy
I know,
part
that's
from the
really- that's
cartoon?
weird. That's a
Yeah,
weird
with
thing.
the baby lions.
That's a weird thing that he said.
All right. Okay. I think we got maybe one more.
That's a picture of a real lion.
Is that just a lion? In
That's
the
a
front
real
of the
lion.
Movie?
Yeah. No, the fluff is too fluffy. That's not a real lion.
Let's say real lion.
I'm saying real lion there.
All right, real lion. I'll buy it. Real lion. Sure. I'm with Bruce.
All right. What is it? It's a real
Yes!
lion.
I like that I said exactly word for word. What
Real
you said.
lion.
You guys did really well.
Uh,
Really good job identifying the main characters of this movie that's supposed to come
Bruce,
out. It's supposed to be
I was
animated.
I was
say
really hoping you would
Simba
have
again.
the three
So you
different
got it.
hyenas to try and have us
They don't
tell-
have
Wow.
real good imagery.
They
for
just
them.
released some today.
Oh, of character posters.
Yeah, yeah.
For them.
Oh, you weren't gonna do the. I thought we were gonna get some of the hyenas and stuff.
Well,
No,
okay.
because you
Oh,
didn't know
gosh.
those characters.
Well, we don't know
the
the
whole
hy-
point is that all the lions look the fucking
But
same.
Yes.
no,
But we
thing
have
is,
to guess the
I don't
hyenas
think the
apart.
hyenas look the same as they do in the cartoons. In
Yeah.
the cartoons, they're really differentiated.
Well, not in this movie. There's no way. They
I
all
don't
look like
think that
hyenas.
that wouldn't help Bruce. Bruce would just be, what are the names of all 3 hyenas?
Shinzi, Ed, and Bonsai.
See, did you get that? Did you know that?
I would never.
I
have
think I
known.
knew Ed.
So I mean, it defeats the purpose if you can't even know the name of the
I
characters.
would never. have
Fucking
known.
amateur
Anyway,
hour over here.
that's a real lion.
I hate
knew it.
dangling.
I'm really excited for this movie to come out.
you-
Oh wait, I saw it in the 90s, only better. So anyway, I think that's a pretty good end of our episode. Nice job, you guys did really well in that
I
quiz.
only got 2 wrong.
Really good. Only got 2 wrong.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, no tricks in there either.
Oh, no. It was
I think the only thing I did was I took a picture of Simba and then I horizontal flipped it because it was almost the exact same shot of Mufasa. And people will put that on movie details and say it's an intention thing, but it's not. It's just because they just made lions.
You made lions.
They just made lions.
James is
They
right.
couldn't
But
even
it's the
put shit on
artistry
their
of
face.
making a perfect lion.
It's not. That's not artistry because I can go to the zoo. Anyway, that's our episode. A couple things that I just want to shout out. Thank you for watching. We got some more stuff coming up from Funhaus. RTX is this weekend.
Austin, Texas.
We'll see
By
you
the
there.
time you're
See you there.
hearing this, watching this, we're on our way probably because we have to get up.
We're
at
gonna be
but-
there.
fudge of dawn.
Yeah, we're gonna be there. We have to get up at like 5:30 or whatever.
And we're gonna be there
Cool
real
job you
early
have.
doing RTX. If you're on your way to RTX or you're already there, hopefully we can see us. We got 2 panels over the weekend specifically for Funhaus that we're gonna be doing.
But then we're doing all kinds of other stuff.
All
too.
kinds of other stuff.
Tons of
So I recommend
Signings.
getting the app or whatever. If not, I think we are intending to take the video of
yeah.
our Funhaus panel
Recording it. Yeah.
and then put it up at some point eventually. So there will be that
That's
option
nice.
too. Upcoming gameplays, we got Gun, another episode of Gun
Part
coming in.
5?
I can't remember 4 or 5.
4 or 5?
Bruce, Lawrence, and I played Team Sonic Racing, and I think did pretty
We
good.
did okay.
Pretty good.
I could have done better. Actually, after we played, I was like, I could have done better.
Well, you'll see, we got a little screwed in there. Another new Google Trends.
This is all this weekend.
New Google Trends. This is just this weekend. Sinking City gameplay.
Yeah.
A parade of hits
Pretty
over
good.
here.
It's a
Yeah.
mystery that Elise headed up.
Mhm. Mystery game. And our review of Spider-Man Far From Home. So we got a lot coming up. Also, Theater Mode returns soon.
Yeah, Friday, 12 p.m. Pacific time. We have the start of, we give you some Aux episodes last week. This week we've got 4 of the classic Theater Mode episodes starting. We're leading with Samurai Cop, which is a classic.
It's great.
Red Letter Media has delved into it.
And
Before.
last but not least, Joel, suffering from the most harshest of real world problems, lamented to me before this podcast began that he's been stuck at 149,000 Twitter
Yeah.
followers for about
Since I left Funhaus.
since he left Funhaus.
Neither grown nor shrunk.
Yeah.
Follower fatigue.
actually
So,
Yeah.
so
To
do
be
your,
honest,
thank you, Joel, for joining us.
Yeah.
Do Joel a favor and follow him at Joel Rubin _.
Oh, yeah, the underscore.
It's either that or keep Harmony Grits.
I know.
You made the right decision. And thank you for joining us. Thank you guys for
Thank you.
sharing
Thanks
your
for having me.
interests and stuff. And thank you guys for watching. And also thank you to our sponsors, Honey, Bespoke Post, and Fleur. We'll see you guys next time.
That's a real lion.
Can I go
That is
pee?
a real
Can I go
line,
pee
you're
now
right.
and then go home?
It's a real
Yeah.
lion.
Yes.
Yes, go to your boy.
I have to go pee.
Bye, Joel. Real lion.
You know what Jacob said at lunch? He said, I think I'm going to, do I have time to play through Witcher one more time before? He's like, he asked if it had New Game Plus. He beat Sekiro 3 times. He's max leveled every character in Destiny.
He has a girlfriend.
And his
I
girlfriend.
think he might be
and
the
a cat.
perfect man.
I'm annoyed.
He can time travel. I know that.
I want
Yeah.
to time travel so bad.
Man.